They're just trying to do all this, like the Premiership are talking about expanding into America. They're talking about bringing the South African teams into the Anglo-Welsh Cup. I mean, there's no strategy to any of this. It's just a cash grab, really.
And the big problem for me in Australia is the schools and the juniors, the numbers, especially in Sydney, are just evaporating.
I'd say there were 6 pages of sport, and maybe 4 of them were on the state of origin. There was a little bit on Aussie rules, and there was a half a page on rugby.
And you're losing ground, and the more negative stuff there is about it, the less likely people are going to pay whatever money it is to go and see it again. And for the crowd that was there on Saturday, I think everyone in Europe was quite shocked. Partly because I think the stadium didn't do it any favours because it's just so big, but I think people expected a little bit more interest.
When someone asks you, where in the world were you when Princess Diana died, they can tell you exactly where they were. The same can go for, where were you when the Twin Towers fall? The reason is because we don't forget occasions that happened. As big as that. I can tell you exactly where I was in 2007 when the Bulls won their first Super Rugby title. I was in Hatfield drinking cane trains and 5 Rand brutal fruit specials, saddened by the Bulls winning in the last minute as I'm a Stormers supporter and I just don't like the Bulls, as I had everything in light blue. I've never watched a State of Origin game, but I can tell you now I hate New South Wales, just because the colour that they are wearing.
Jealous? I'm not jealous, that's crazy.
In 2009 I was still a student, and I had a choice when the Bulls went into the final again. It's either $20 to go to Loftus, or another lemonade and cane train specials at Hatfield. Guess which one I chose? In 2010 it was either $50 to go to watch my Stormers play in the final trying to win their first Super Rugby title. But it's $50, so guess what I did? I remember all of this because during those glorious years, we didn't tag ourselves on Facebook to say we are at Loftus or at Kings Park Stadium, or send hashtag final, hashtag rugby, hashtag bless on Twitter, or send live stream videos on Instagram to brag exactly where you were. During those days, we lived in the moment. Those years and before, it was really a struggle to get tickets, because the game will be sold out 2 or 3 weeks before the game even started. We used to have braais on the street, and if you were lucky enough you could park close to the stadium so your walk wasn't that far. People even went as far to build their own bakuzies. It's a jacuzzi and a bakkie, just before the game started to have a relaxer. 10 years later, and the stadiums are empty. The streets are empty. There's parking everywhere before the game. It's a sad state of affairs. It makes me feel like it's another rundown town in South Africa. So what happened?
Entitled. You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
To understand the issue, we have to be honest first. There's actually no difference between Andre Pollard and Lady Gaga. Both we go on a weekend to watch them entertain us. Because that is sport. Sport is entertainment. Let's for example say Lady Toto comes into town, the cover-up singer for Lady Gaga. Will you pay tickets to go and see her?
Oh, hell no!
Okay. Hell no!
Well, I guess not. Well, that's the same. I'm not buying tickets to watch Limbok play for the Bulls. I want to see Andre Pollard play. So the first issue in Super Rugby, it's not strength versus strength anymore. I can go on and on now. The Northern Hemisphere still all are quality players in the Southern Hemisphere, and there's more than 500 South African professional rugby players in Europe, and look, Watson still suck.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
But that's a discussion for a different day. We just need to know the problems first.
But I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
I vividly remember my grandfather told me how the public used to camp outside Newlands during his days to get tickets when Northern Transvaal is coming into town. That's because it only happened once a year. Then Super Rugby happened. Now they face each other 3 times a year. Twice in Currie Cup and once in Super Rugby. Then a few years later they created the Super 14, adding 2 extra teams, the Cheetahs and the Force. Then they decided to add another 3 teams later and then changed the lock system, where the teams in the lock have to face each other twice. So that means the Stormers or the Western Province have to face the Bulls 4 times a year. In a space of 25 years, from once to 4 times a year. And that can even be more if there's finals and semi-finals. My second issue is there is just too many local derbies and too many games. Diamonds are expensive not because of their substance, that is rare, but because they are sold in small portions. No jokes, look it up. That's one of the reasons why the NFL is so big in the United States and baseball is dying. Since the start of Super Rugby, every decision that was ever made was for the sake of money. And the way they make money is viewership, something that SuperSport, Fox Sport and Sky Sport had a monopoly for years.
So what is the advantage then of going for Murdoch and not going with the old arrangement of SABC 1 week, Curry Cup, Mnet the next? Why go for the Murdoch deal?
Money is the reason. Like I said on Friday, when a person asked me, why did you do this deal? I said there are more than 550 million reasons why we did this deal.
But then the internet happened, and smartphones, and smart TVs, and we changed the way we consume information and entertainment. Why would you pay $100 a month for satellite TV when Netflix is $50 a month and YouTube and Twitch is free? Twitch is an online streaming channel used by gamers to stream their games live. The reason why esport is the fastest growing and profitable sport in the world. This let me think of Charles Darwin. It's not the strongest that survive, it's the ones that can adapt to their circumstances that will survive. The Northern Hemisphere realized that, and now rugby is free to view on ITV. Free viewing channel like SABC or ETV in South Africa. Like it was before Super Rugby. You remember when rugby was big and famous? So let's connect the dots. So DStv has a record cancellation of subscribers. Not just DStv, it's Sky Sport and Fox Sport as well. Which means there's less viewers. Less viewers means there's less interest. The less interest there is, the less kids are interested to watch the game, to grow up, to love the game like we used to. And that's one of the reasons why in New Zealand and in Australia, participation in rugby has dropped with 17% a year since 2011. In New Zealand alone, private schools had 10 years ago 5 open teams. Today, they struggle to have only 2.
You serious?
So basically, Super Rugby is dying due to greed. Nothing more and nothing less.
Of evolution in corporate America seems to be survival of the unfittest. Well, in my book, you either do it right or you get eliminated.
So let's say Sansa pitch up at my house and say, okay, you are the CEO or the CFO and the marketing manager of Super Rugby. Fix Super Rugby. What would you do? Well, number one, the first thing I will do is I will look at the NFL and make Super Rugby back into 12 teams format. Like a good interior designer will tell you, less is more. 5 home games, 5 away games, and let's say 1 game that you miss each and every single year. It depends on which team it is. It's less traveling and it's more lucrative because there's less games. The second thing I will do is people like to associate their teams with their area or their heritage. It brings people together. Look at football clubs in Europe. You will see that 99% of all football clubs in Europe is the area with FC before or after the name. In America, they like brands. They always have the area before or after the name. For example, the New England Patriots, the Golden State Warriors, the Chicago White Sox, the LA Galaxy. Imagine you sit in a bar in Argentina and you watch the TV and you see 2 teams play rugby. You see the Bulls and the Sharks. You have no idea who they are or where they're from. In New Zealand, the ITM Cup, it works perfectly because they associate their teams from where they're from, like Auckland, Canterbury, Wellington, Tasman, Marcos. But in Super Rugby, they scrapped the names. It was always the Canterbury Crusaders, the Auckland Blues, the Waikato Chiefs, the Otago Highlanders. In South Africa, they almost had something the same. Remember the names? It was the Northern Bulls, the Golden Cats, the Coastal Sharks, the Western Stormers. In Australia, it was the ACT Brumbies, the Queensland Reds and the New South Wales Waratahs. Why would you change the name? It doesn't even make sense.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
Number 3. Sport is entertainment. It's the same as buying a ticket to watch an opera. You spend hard-earned working money to entertain yourself on a weekend. So this is not the fault of Sansa, but every single Super Rugby team. How are you entertaining your crowd before the game, during the game, and after the game? Here's some examples what other clubs did to do exactly that. Racing 92 owner and renowned businessman Jackie Lorenzetti knows that the sport is entertainment, and that's exactly how he created and built his stadium to an entertainment hub called the Paris La Défense. One wing of the stadium doesn't even have a single seat, it's just one big ass screen. to help the spectators to see the TMO calls and the replays just a little bit better. This helps also with the introduction material before the game starts. Racing 92 also have a light show and a music show before the game starts because the facility they created for that. Juventus Football Club created a tradition by screaming out the player's name before the game. People will go early to the games before the game start because they want to be part of that tradition. It's like singing the national anthem. Everybody does it together and it's fun to do it. The Canberra Vikings and the Minnesota Vikings stole the Iceland's Viking Club. It's a very simple tradition that the whole stadium participate in. Since the introduction of the Viking Club, the NRL team stadium is 95% full for every single game. That is the most of any other team, as they are always seen as a smaller team in the NRL. The same can go for the Minnesota Vikings. Listen and look at the Kansas City Chiefs. It is their mission to break the world record at every single game to be the noisiest stadium in the world, a record that they still hold. Want to be entertained. We go to stadiums not just to watch the sport, but to be part of the activities. All around the world you can see people flocking to the English Premier League to be part of the crowd, not just for the game, but for the songs and the chants. I have friends that went to Liverpool to sing You Never Walk Alone in Anfield, and all of them came back and said, what an experience. So what do we have in Super Rugby? Well, the answer is nothing. The Chiefs have cowbells that they ring during games that looks cool or sounds cool in a way, and the Stormers have echoes of province during games, but that's not enough. Number 4. Make rugby free to view, for at least majority of the games. The MLR in the US is live stream every single game on YouTube, to try to get people interested. The reason why rugby is so popular in the UK is because rugby is free to view on ITV. Is free to view, more people will watch it. If more people watch it, TV advertisement becomes more valuable and more expensive, making you more money. It's not really rocket science. Pay TV is dead. The quicker SANZAR get it in their heads, the more money is to be made. So the way SuperSport, Sky and Fox are making money is they bought the rights to televise the games. And when they televise the games, other companies have to pay them to advertise during the games. And they also make money through monthly subscription and modem fees of approximately $100 or $1,000 per month for you as a viewer to watch the game. But the problem is more and more people are cancelling their subscriptions as it is too expensive, and there are other channels that's free to view, meaning less viewers, and less viewers is less interest, and less interest for the future generation. It's an endless cycle until rugby is dead. All because of greed.
The entire Channel 4 news team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. Go fuck yourselves.
Number 5. Sync the Southern Hemisphere schedule with the Northern Hemisphere schedule. This means that Super Rugby will be played during the summertime, during holiday time, during the time that everybody gets their 13th paycheck. So for those that can't go to the beach during December holidays, they can go to the stadium, have a lemonade in short sleeves. I believe this will attract more spectators and all the international fixtures will be synced with each other. Imagine the Rugby Championship is played at the same time the Six Nations is going on. Wouldn't that be cool? It works for soccer, so why can't it work for rugby?
God, what is that smell? Oh.
That's the smell of desire, my lady.
Number 6. Make rugby a story again. Get personal. Get the story from the inside. The British and Irish Lions released a documentary every 4 years about the inside of the squad, the team's selection, and the team talks before and after the game. Audience loves it. Why don't we start doing it with every Super Rugby game? Rassie Erasmus recently posted videos of his team talks before the Rugby World Cup final. Everybody loved it. I think we should do the same in Super Rugby. The NFL have mics on the field to record all the chats between the players and the opposition. Maybe we can do the exact same thing.
Having fun? I am. Huh? Having the most fun of my life.
All you can ask for is another opportunity to play this game.
I'll actually go as far and say create some drama. I remember when Luke Watson once said, I'll puke on a Springbok jersey. A few weeks later, I've never seen Loftus as full as that. Because they all were there for one thing, is to boo Luke Watson. And then this incident happened. And the famous story of Wally Lewis, when he sat on a plane on his way to Sydney, and he said Sydney is a beautiful place, beautiful beaches and beautiful mountains. It's just unfortunately it's full of assholes. The week after that, Sydney has never been as full as that day, when the State of Origin game the Blues against the Maroons played out, and everybody wanted to boo Wally Lewis. And then the game was better known as the State of Hate, not the State of Origin. Maybe that's what we need. A little bit of drama, just to spice things up. So here's a reminder. Number 1, Super Rugby needs less teams. Make it lucrative again. Number 2, use area names within the team names. People love association. Number 3, entertain your supporters. Keep them busy. People love doing things in sync. Number 4, try to make Super Rugby free to air. Fox Sport has cancelled their association with Australia just because no one watches the sport anymore, because it's too expensive to watch. Number 5, let's sync the Northern Hemisphere schedules with the Southern Hemisphere schedules. Let's utilize those festive seasons to get supporters. Number 6, create drama. Get inside the locker. Let's see what's happening in and off the field. Let's get personal. Let games be much more than just lock points.
I want to say something. I want to put it out there. And if you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
I will smash your face into a car windshield and then take your mother, Dorothy Mantooth, out for a nice seafood dinner and never call her again.